Welcome to the session recap for The Only Thing I Know For Real, a track that I uploaded a few days ago. Revisiting this song was awesome. I remember all the parts that I had trouble with and all the parts that were easy for me. I want to thank everyone for the kind comments, and without further ado, let's just go listen to the raw vocals.
Memory's broken, the truth goes unspoken. I've even forgotten my name. I don't know the season or what is the reason I'm standing here holding my blade. A desolate place without any trace. It's only the cold wind of fear. It's me that I spite as I stand up and fight. The only thing I know for real. There will be blood shed. The man in the mirror nods his head. The only one left will ride up on the dragon's back, because the mountains don't give back what they take. Oh no, there will be blood shed. It's the only thing I've ever known.
Had to wait for the reverb tail to end, or delay tail actually, not a reverb. Okay, so like always, I did my doubling everything. My lead has my one band EQ, rolling off some lows up to 176. Next is I used the Slate VMR. I used the LA2A and the 1176 remakes that they have in here. For the LA2A, I always like to make it so it pins around, bounces around here. It really saturates the track, really brings out all the nuances of the track, and it does it in a real natural way. Right after that, I'll throw the 1176 on just to chop any additional peaks down. It's a little bit, much less aggressive than the LA2A. After that, we go to the Howard Benson plugin. And I also have the high pass filter engaged. I'm not exactly sure where it stops, where the high pass, the low roll off begins. So it might be redundant, but I just have that engaged anyway. I use the Howard Benson vocal channel with effects, as I always do. That's all my favorite starting point insert plugin or preset. I change the input knob until the highest, one of the highest vocal peaks in that track starts to hit yellow, and that's kind of where I gauge it. I adjust the output for taste. For this track, I didn't need too much echo or space. I just had them in lightly. I have it sent to the long throw delay, which is here, where that is the part where it's the only thing I've ever known. No, does all that crazy stuff. The doubles, I have them fairly dry. I just want them to be tucked under, supporting the lead. I have vocal lined all of them so they do not stray too far from the lead vocal. And I intentionally do not tune the double for that, just so the variation can have a nice effect. If you vocal line and tune them, it's almost too similar and you kind of defeat the purpose. If you're doing pop music, sure, that's a good idea. But if it's rock music, the vocals do benefit from the slight variances in pitch. Timing too. But I felt that this track needed the timing to be a little bit tighter. So for the Howard Benson for the double track, I used that Howard Benson vocal channel. It's basically just some compression, some EQ, and no effects. That's it. Nice and dry. Dry as a bone. Okay, we have the same lead here. It's just the lead overlap because the points where this verse ended and this began, I didn't want to cut them off, so I just put them on their own separate track. And the low harmony here. Let's just hear the low harmonies by themselves.
Standing here holding my blade.
So,
it's only the cold wind I feel.
These are majorly high passed. I'm talking all the way up to like 1,000. I do aggressive high passing for this one. It felt right. It felt like the right thing to do. It sounded right to me. And I don't try to stick with what you should do or what I've done in the past. It's just I'm always in the moment. I always do what I think sounds right, whether it's actually right or not. But you just got to trust your ear. Again, for this, I use the Howard Benson vocal channel, and this is after the very aggressive high passing. And they're just dry and compressed. Same thing with that. Don't do anything different. Higher harmonies, I believe I do the exact same thing. High pass and the Howard Benson vocal channel. Okay. After that, the only other parts were the repeats, the repeats of the "There will be blood, blood, shed, shed." Let's check those out. There will be blood! So in the beginning of the chorus, there will be. Those are almost radioed out. So there is 2 highs and 2 lows. That's 2 leads. So there will be. So I just sort of did the whole like telephone treatment, but it's not exactly the telephone range. Usually telephone range is like below 5, a little bit above 1K. So, you know, it's that, I don't know if it's exactly telephone, but it sounds like if you're listening to someone talking on a telephone and you're having your hand held out, that's kind of what they, I guess that's why they call it, because I don't think a telephone sounds like that anymore. And so after that, it's just really compressed. I use like some really aggressive compression to just really chop them off, because there's not much there. I mean, all the bandwidth is gone. All the frequencies are being cut out. So I just compress it just so it can cut through. Same thing with this double. Same thing with the lower part. There will be. Except I thought it needed a little bit more highs. There will be. And again, this one is compressed to hell too. Well, not to hell, but it's pretty brick wally. But it doesn't cut deep into them. Only cuts like just a little bit. But it was enough to get the job done. And then it's cool. Those card parts are cool because they're so filtered out. And by the time there will be, those are filtered out. And by the time it hits blood, it's like it feels like it explodes. There will be blood, shed. And these are literally the blood and shed, the repeats. They're literally copied and pasted from the original. But I did add 2 more. Just me just shouting it out. Here you go. Blood, shed. And then here's the ones that were copied and pasted. Blood, shed. So they're just layered. I did originally just have these ones as the only ones, just like to sing it again. It didn't sound right. I needed... The dominant ones needed to be the ones that were copied and pasted from the leads. That's what sounded best. Did the exact same thing over here. Oh, I didn't realize my big fat face was covering it. So yeah, I did the same things with the ones over here and same things here. So no different. All right, let's move on. We have the big throw delay. So I used the mod delay here, quarter note. I adjusted the feedback. It found out it felt right about 50% feedback. There's a quarter note delay on both sides, and I rolled off some of the top end just to darken it a bit, and then I just did a little bit of compression on it. And just to make the compression is to make sure that like all the tail, I could hear the tail all the way that I wanted it to hear. And I kept compressing it until I got the tail right, and then I stopped. Okay, the last part.
Losing my identity, wondering have I gone insane? To find the truth in front of me, I must climb this mountain range, looking downward from this deadly height and never realizing why I fight.
So if you saw the little live YouTube short of me singing that part, some of that is actually used in these tracks. I believe it's the lower blue one.
I fall, looking downward from this deadly height and never realizing
The reason I didn't use that one as the main lead is because it only has one type of vocal character to it. It's very gritty. It's all the way gritty all the way through. So when I build a lead, while I can sing all the way through, sometimes, most of the time what I like to do is I like to get different variations. I like to do a clean one. I like to do a gritty one. I like to do one that really has a lot of drama in it. And then I'll comp them down to one master hero lead. So while that might sound like cheating or something like that, it's just really an efficient way to get a great sounding lead line. And I think everyone should be doing that. And a lot of people do that. There's nothing, dirty about doing that. It's a way to just sort of grab the best moments from the best parts. So here's the lead that I decided to go with that I made from different parts.
Losing my identity, wondering have I gone insane? To find the truth in front of me, I must climb this mountain range, looking downward from this deadly height and never realizing why I fight.
So for this one, looking downward from this deadly height, it's very clean, and then it kind of gets grittier. And then the realizing why I fight. The held out note is a little bit less gritty, has a lot more tonality. But the second is the double's there to provide a lot of that gritty. You can hear some of that graveliness brought in. But if you lose that tonality, it's just then people's ear won't catch it enough. It'll sound, I don't know, it won't sound good. So that's why I comp vocals down. All right, well, that's it. So I really wanted to thank everyone for the 1K subs. It's a small little milestone for the channel. And I already regret sort of promising that I would do an interpretive dance version at 100K, but I already promised it. If we get to 100K, my mind will be blown because I never thought any of this was going to be possible. So thanks again. I really appreciate all the support. And until next time, later.